Hey guys, this is my Makeup Project Pan 20 in 2020 first update. So obviously there are 20 products to begin with, and so far I'm all done with 7 products which I've emptied out, completely used. Let me just go through with you now. The first thing is called the Bbb Eyebrow Gel. I think it's called Brow Build Gel. Brow Build Bar. Till this day I'm not too sure what the brand is called. It's super tiny, and when I put it into the project in the intro, I said it looks pretty dry, perhaps because the tube is small, and I used it a handful of times. I know it came in one of my Look Fantastic boxes, which is why the size was so tiny and the tube was small, but the brush was actually pretty good size. And I'm all done with it now. I used it up, I scraped it. Honestly, at the end I felt like there was no product left, and I was just kind of brushing my eyebrows with nothing because I liked it so much and I refused to throw it away. And I remember it was in the shade Indian Chocolate. I would definitely put it on my repurchase list one day once I go through my 10 eyebrow pencils. I haven't enjoyed an eyebrow gel in a long while. Okay, I'm going to follow this list, so I'm going to be jumping in between what's done and what is still here. Number 2 is called the A Concept Peach Concealer, and number 3 is also this because I have them inside the project pan but as 2 separate products. So this one is from the brand A Concept. It's just called Triple Full Cover. So I'm not sure if they meant it for I'm pretty sure they meant it as color conceal too. I don't know, everything is in Korean behind. So this was a green corrector which I'm long done. It was inside like a 2019 project pan, so not related to us. But these two, I put it into the project pan. So let's look at, this part keeps dropping out, so I have to shove it back in. First up, the peach concealer. I said in the last intro, well, there's only one intro, so I don't know why I'm saying last. I said that it already has a pretty decent dip, but no pen showing, and well, that's a lot of pen. That is like my finger because I always concentrate on that part, and I've also started to shove it up, and there's also one eyelash inside which I never attempted to take out because it would just mean getting more product on my fingers. So I also just used it today too. You really just take the tiniest bit, just dab it. You see a tiny bit of color and just dab on the under eyes. I don't really need a lot. Also, I find that if I use too much, it will crease and cake up. So that is definitely great progress. This one, however, this is like a beige normal concealer color, and I really despise concealers or any products in potted form. So in my intro, I said that barely ever touched, some fingerprints on it. I think I see more of a little dip compared to the intro, so I did use it, but I don't really enjoy it that much. I definitely will have this last product left here, but I think at the end of 2020, it would just mean that time is up and I'll just throw the whole compact away. Next up, we have this LA Girl Pro Conceal, and I bought mine in the shade Green Corrector. So the last time I said it was 1/3 used, and I can see a gap when I squeeze it hard. I actually drew a line, and I forgot completely that I drew a line. There's some air in it, so now I don't really see any gaps, but I can bend it down. Oh yeah, when I squeeze it that way, I just saw a gap, but it kind of like farted and left. So I have around, if I were to really squeeze it hard to meet, it's kind of like all coming out. I had this for a long while, which is why I want to use it up. You can see the gap over here. There's this gap here. I really don't know because I feel that I can squeeze a lot, but I don't know if I'm actually squeezing out product. But now that when I squeeze it, the hole actually remains, so there's like gap at the top part of it. The fat part is just left with quite a lot of product. However, I find it really difficult to squeeze out the product now. I used to be able to just like squeeze with one hand. Now I have to like squeeze out and then squeeze with 2 hands. And also it's starting to shed, so my fingers always get black stuff when I'm using it, which irritates me because after that I go in with like sunblock using my hands. So I think that it is kind of finishing, but also I use very little right now. Nowadays I only take the tiniest little bit, and I feel that it's just easier for me to go in with a foundation after that to conceal the color. So this is going to take a while. Next up, we have the Collection Cosmetics Foundation, which is the 16-hour long wear foundation. That reminds me, I still have the powder, which is brand new, up in that cupboard over there. But I finished up the whole foundation. I started halfway through, and then it has been a couple months, so I'm all done with it. I think I didn't even bring it with me to Malaysia, so that was the period of time that I was done with. And to use that, I actually had to use it in combination with something else called the Catrice White, which is like the white lightening drops. I bought it pretty recent in comparison to the intro video which I filmed, so I said it's still super full and lightly used. but to use up that foundation I had to use quite a lot of Catrice white drops as time progressed because I just got whiter and whiter, so I used up the whole thing. And after that, when I used up the whole thing with the Catrice foundation, I remember using it with my other foundations too because I just started to get more white. That is how I used it up with 2 foundations. Next up, this is a product that was inside the intro and I said it was pretty much new. This is the eyeliner from Lot & Berry and it's a pencil eyeliner. It's very creamy, which is why I feel that I can use quite a lot each time. But then again, it is very, very black and I never use it for my wings. I only use it for my lash line. So, well, 2 eyes, 2 small lash line. I don't think you use a lot each time. I remember I drew this on the paper, which obviously I don't have the paper. I have the book. Or was it just a piece of paper? That book or that paper is inside Malaysia. Pretty sure I did bring it with me to Malaysia, but I don't have it now to measure. But I remember I sharpened it the day after I filmed that intro, and I sharpened it before I come to Singapore, so I have been using it, but not a lot of progress. Ooh, next up, very exciting, Rcma powder. I had around this much left, like just a fat base of it, and then like, yeah, I would say around this level, and I used it all up. At the last part, that was the only product that I was using, the only powder I was using, because I really wanted to finish it. I didn't want to have to bring it with me when I move. And also because the little sifter that I always pour it into started to like have more and more cracks, so I started using more and more product each time so that I can get it out of my collection. So it's all done now. Next up, another powder, and this one is from Maybelline. This is the Fit Me powder. So when I first put it into the project, I said no dent, no pen, kind of see hint of ring in the middle, which is the flattest, and ta-da, now I have not just the middle, I even hit the side pan, so I have a lot of pan right now. But this part over here is still pretty high up, only this part over here is low, so I'm going to try and clear out this side's pan by the next update. Hopefully I can do it because this is the only powder I am using right now. Next up is from the brand Rimmel, and it was a mascara. I had it opened in 2019 and I had still so much left and so much product on the brush. But the way I use it is I use sparingly on the lashes or it will smudge for sure. So I didn't use much each time. I had it open a while, but now I'm all done with it because I feel like it started flicking and smudging more and started drying out a little bit more inside the tube. Also started to have kind of a strange smell. I think towards the end, I definitely had it way more than the 3 to 6 months mark, which is what normal humans use mascara for, I guess. But towards the end, I think I had just a tiny bit left, but I just called it done because I used a lot of it already. That was the only mascara I used for a long time. And then I had this thing which is from Avril and it's an eyeliner. So I said that I just opened it and it was used 5 times. So far I have been using this every time I need to draw a wing, but that is not very often because I have eyelash extensions. Right now they are barely hanging on. I only have a few strands left, so I'm starting to use my eyeliner again. Oh, same goes for the Lot & Berry then because I always use them together. So it has started to fray. It used to only have like 1 fraying. It's very wet now, but I always clean it off before I use it. And once I clean it off, you can see there's 2 strands of hair. So they're going 2 different ways, but it's still very wet and still works really well. It's just a brush. I think I will continue using it until the brush cannot be used anymore, but I don't think the product inside would dry out before then. Next up is a Max & More spray, which is the one product that I don't have with me now because I left it inside Malaysia. So when I put it into the intro, it was half left, and I think I used maybe a couple times. I definitely still have quite a lot left, so I won't be able to talk about that until I go back to Malaysia. Next up is the Etude House eyebrow pencil, and I have mine in this like grey shade. Intro, I haven't used it much. I remember I only brought it with me for traveling because it had a brush, a spoolie, and some of my eyebrow pencils do not come with a spoolie. Since then, it has started to crack, so there's a big hole now. It doesn't stay on inside my makeup pouch, which I throw inside here, and it's always like shaking and out. Yep, okay, but this expires in 2020, okay. But I kind of just opened it not long ago. Okay, so that has dropped, and I remember I have it on the paper too, but once again I don't have the paper, so this is still quite a decent amount of product, and I have been using it consistently, and most of the time I use it more product on the outside and then some product on the inside, but I never use it on the inner part of the brow, so I'm using it on like half an eyebrow. I highly enjoy it, and I don't mind that the spoolie part is broken, because what's important is that the pencil itself is still protected. So I'm going to continue using that. Well, I have no choice, it's the only eyebrow pencil I have. Next up, I have this in the list, which is called the Collection Cosmetics Concealer. Oh, I still have it here. So some parts of it have faded off, and I don't see any gaps, but I have just since realized that this is just not the correct shade for me. I bought mine in the shade 2 Cool Medium, and it worked for me, but now I'm very white and pale, so it's just too orange, too yellow, too different undertone. In the intro, I said the words were intact. The words are no longer all intact. And I said it was pretty brand new, used 5 times. Ever since then, I've been using it regularly. It was my only concealer for a long time until I opened up a new one recently when I realized that I just look ridiculous. So I'm going to keep this and hopefully have a use for it later on down the road. Commleaf spray, when I put it into the project pan, it was a little bit like the Rcma powder. I had like amount around this left, so not much left is what I said, and I used it all up, and I enjoy it and find it easy to use because it's a water base, so I'm quite liberal when I use it for my makeup, for my lower part of my face, to like moisture it and like let the makeup blend in together. The last one, 4 products, is inside here. This is a face palette, and there's 4 different products inside. It's just from Pony Effect in the shade Fabulous, as in this compact is called Fabulous. They have only another one called Marvelous. So the compact still works, it still closes, magnetic closure, everything is fine, which is really surprising because I use this, well, obviously 4 times, 4 different zones of my face. So every single time I do makeup and I use this, I open and close it 4 times. So this one, I need my list. Okay, for the white shade over here, which is this matte white powder, in my intro I had 1 line of pan, like a tiny little line of pan, and now I have expanded on that line because I try to concentrate my brush there. I don't use that too often though. I use it for sometimes under my eyes when I bother to, or when I feel that it's a little bit dark, so it's not every single time. Let's talk about the highlight, which is right beside. So when I put it into intro, it was 1/3 pan, and I already hit the side pan. There isn't much progress because I've just been trying to clear out the side pans, but I'm not done yet. Yeah, there's just a silver of product over here on each side. Sliver of product, not silver of product. So I'm working on it, but it's not really big progress because there was already big pan showing. Blush was flat in the middle, can see the 3 lines, which is the underlying pan, but no pan showing yet. Still no pan showing, still can see the 3 lines though. I really don't use a lot of blush each time. I remember there was a period of time after I filmed the intro where I did not use any blush because my cheeks were just very red. So I would use foundation but not put too much on my cheeks, and that would be like a natural blush showing through. Then the last part over here, this is the bronzer. I said that I can see 3 lines in the middle but no pan, and that is the same thing. I think that it did sink down a little bit though, so I feel like overall it went down a little bit, and that is my progress so far. Now I have 13 products left, 12 which I can work on right now because I don't have one of it, which is a lot better progress than I expected. I did not expect to use up 7 products soon. I think most of us are not using makeup in this period of time given the situation in the world, which is definitely the case for me. I haven't been using my makeup that often. But I hope this motivates you. Sometimes put on a little bit of makeup and maybe you will mentally feel better, which is it works kind of that way for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it was motivating for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!